People say that if you do something for 30 days, it can become a habit. But I think there is something different between like just completing a challenge and becoming the person that you need to be after the challenge is completed. Because if you've done something for 30 days and you've completed the challenge, what happens on day 31? And that's something that I've been thinking about lately that's making me rethink this whole idea. Today is day 33 of me posting on YouTube, and I'm doing a 100-day challenge of just showing up here every single day. And I'm just rethinking about like habits and becoming and embodiment and all of those things. And maybe you felt the same way if you've tried a challenge or you've completed a challenge or you've tried something new. And I just kind of want to share my thoughts around this today because this is the first time I've ever really thought about it in this way. And I want to have a conversation about it because I really do feel I can do anything for 30 days. Like, I'm a very focused person. If you're watching this, you probably are. I talk about ambition, I talk about capacity. These videos are for, excuse me, women who identify that way, driven, reliable, responsible. So I really feel like I can do anything for 30 days, like no sweat off my back. I am just I'm having a hard time because I'm using these 30 days again because today is day 33 of me posting on YouTube for 100 days, and I still don't feel like this is a habit yet. Me being me coming in front of this camera every single day for 30 days, I'm not that person. I'm not that person. So that's the tension that I'm holding right now. And again, maybe you can relate to this in some way. Let me know down in the comments. I have my notes here because I want to keep my thoughts clear because this is a video that can get me into ramble or yap mode. But I really want to stay clear because I'm not a daily YouTuber yet, even though, well, first of all, we'll get into that. I'm not a daily YouTube poster yet, even though I have been posting on YouTube every day, and today makes day 33. I am not that person yet. And if I can be honest, if I had it my way, I would not I would not be showing up here every day. I would not. This is a personal development practice for me, and visibility for one, and really stepping outside of my comfort zone for two. And number three is I really do feel that God is pulling me or tugging at me in a capacity in order to speak to women who resonate with my story. And if I'm not on a platform like YouTube talking about it, how will I be able to reach these women? How will the story that God has allowed me to experience be able to reach women? So that's the tension that I'm holding right now of showing up here every day, because I'm also a person that if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So I'm definitely going to be showing up here every day for these 100 days, but still feeling like this is not something that I would actually choose. Visibility in this way is not a default for me. I'm an introvert by nature. I'm not shy by any means. I facilitate workshops. I talk to women. Like, that's not an issue. It's just showing up in this way. And it's definitely a test in personal development. And if I'm honest, after 30 days, I felt like I would be more in a rhythm. I felt like it would become more natural, and it has not. It has not. Now, I will say many barriers have been removed for me to be able to show up in this way by just watching Glow, in the way she did this 100-day challenge and, encouraged other women to do it as well. Like the barriers that have been lifted for me are just, showing up, not being scripted, not trying to be perfect. Those were big barriers that I was able to be lifted off. The other barrier was not doing all of this editing, just kind of just talking, having a topic, maybe a few notes, and just sharing. That was a barrier. So those were huge barriers that have been lifted off of me to show up here every day. But it still doesn't feel easier, I would say, and it definitely doesn't feel like it's a habit yet. And I know there's been like conversations, like back in the day, it was like, do it for 30 days, it's a habit. I know some of that has changed. Like I read somewhere where it might be 21 days where it's a habit, and some places says it's longer than 21 days to become a habit. But I feel like the deeper question is it truly a habit? Just because you've completed this certain amount of time, if it's 30 days, 90 days, 100 days, is it truly a habit if you have not become that person? And I mean embodied what that person will look like. Because what if you're just the type of person that's just doing it to check off the box or to finish the challenge? That is definitely, I can identify with that deeply. And maybe you can too. And that's why I'm having this conversation. And forgive me if my thoughts aren't perfectly aligned and laid out here. But I do think there is something in that where you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, whatever that may be. If it's like weight loss or trying to eat better or be healthier, like whatever that may be to you, get more rest, like I like to talk about. If it's just something that you're trying to check off the box for, this is this 30 days, I can do this for 30 days, I can do this for 90 days, whatever the case may be, and I'm just checking off the box, is that truly a habit just because you've completed that amount of time? If you have not truly embodied that identity of what that would require. So I feel like the deeper question is, it's still a habit. Is it still a habit? I'm trying to say this clear, and again, forgive me. Is it a habit if you're still forcing yourself to do it, just checking off a box, or just trying to finish the challenge? I have written down here, embodiment isn't something you're trying to do anymore. It's something that feels normal. So again, I'm using this, my example right now is this YouTube challenge, but your example could be anything. I know a lot of women are trying to maybe do 3 things, like lose weight, gain weight, be more healthy. And you guys know I talk about rest and creativity, maybe trying to find more time for rest or find more opportunities to sprinkle in joy. Like it's just a practice if it has not become normal to you. So here we go. When something isn't embodied yet, you're still checking it off. You're still pushing yourself. You're still counting the days. You're still waiting for the challenge to be over. So I wrote this because that's how, for me, it's like I'm still counting the days on YouTube. I'm still checking it off. At the same time, me knowing that this is something that I want to practice as a means of personal development. I want to be able to have these conversations with women like you. And I want to be able to show up in this way, like not polished, not scripted, not trying to be perfect. But this practice of showing up here every day on YouTube is still not just who I am yet. I haven't embodied it yet. It's just not a normal, okay, today, today is time to record my video. I'm still like really counting down the days until I'm getting to day 100. So I put, when something is embodied, you don't think about the timeline anymore. You don't need the challenge anymore. It has become a natural choice instead of being forced. So think about an example like brushing your teeth. Brushing your teeth isn't a habit anymore. We all brush our teeth. It's not a habit. It is who we are. It is who we are because we care about our oral health and our dental health. So like brushing our teeth isn't a habit. We have embodied that. It is who we are. And I also wrote an example too about, I was like, I had to think to myself and say, okay, what new things, I had to think about to some times that I tried new things and now they are who I am. And I really had to think through that to say, to identify like the moment where, okay, that's just who I am. And I also was thinking about, does embodying it somehow relate to results? Because again, if you're an ambitious, driven woman, we love our results. But especially in a personal development type of space, sometimes the results will not come until after you've embodied the identity. So I wrote down some personal examples. So one of the examples that I wrote down was, I am a rested woman. I have embodied being a rested woman. But it started out with me having to identify, listen, Erica, you need to prioritize your wellness. You need to rest. And I mean holistically rest. And unfortunately, I had to be pushed to that place with career burnout. And which is why I talk about, rest and creativity and those things, because I lost them trying to chase another identity that really wasn't even mine. So me starting out identifying, well, first of all, me just being sick and tired of myself. I feel like oftentimes too, people can't be pushed to change or to embodiment until you just sick of yourself. Sometimes, and I wish it's us as humans, like I get it. Sometimes you just have to be sick of yourself because as humans, we love comfort, even if comfort is painful. But if it's comfortable, we're still gonna stay. So you just have to really come to a point where you get sick of yourself before you'll make a true change. But again, just using rest as an example, when I was pushed to having to rest myself, I started out with practices. I started out with 15-minute practices, then 30-minute practices, then 60-minute practices, until one day it's not a practice anymore. It's just who I am. I am a rested woman. Rest is something that I prioritize daily. It's no question about it. I'm not in a place where I'm going to push myself beyond my limits, my capacity, and not rest myself. Because again, I know that the results of me being rested well outweigh the results of me pushing through or trying to complete something at any cost. So in this scenario, when I talk about, is embodiment results oriented, it is, but I feel like with the rest example, I had to do the practices until I embodied it. And now, like, I wouldn't identify any other way, because I see the results of rest well outweigh what me pushing through at any cost, me being on a perpetual cycle of go, 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 do. Me being rested has allowed me to elevate in ways that not being rested has. Another thing with, I posted a video several days ago that was getting some engagement around me. I'm in the room that used to be my dream closet, and how I got rid of everything because I knew that me embodying the woman that I wanted to be was not with having all these clothes and these shoes and the mental capacity that the clothes and the shoes and the time to organize things. Even though the closet was beautiful, everything was beautifully organized, I knew that the woman that I was becoming, that wasn't going to fit there. So again, when it comes to the results, I had to get rid of the stuff before I could really embody a woman that has an easeful wardrobe, a woman that didn't spend hours of time endless shopping, a woman that chose quality pieces over quantity. Like, if I held on to all of those things until I thought I would embody her, it would have never happened. I had to get rid of those things before I could embody that woman. And then I have another example, like a general example, how I said most women, are either in a season where you're trying to gain weight, lose weight, or just be more healthy all around. I would say for over the last decade, I've been optimizing my health year over year over year. And it just started with that first year of, like, okay, me removing pork. And then the second year, me removing beef. And then me having uh, seasons where I would remove alcohol. Now I haven't drank for 3 years. And just me taking these small steps, and look, again, this was over a 10-year period, and just seeing the results in how my body felt. I am a healthy person. That is just who I am. I am a non-drinker. That's just who I am. I'm not the person that, oh, well, I'll drink occasionally, or, for the holidays. No, I don't drink. That's who I am. I don't eat meat. That's just who I am. And again, these thoughts just all came to me in how I'm showing up here on YouTube for these 100 days, and just really trying to wrap my head around, or not wrap my head around, because intellectually I get it, I understand, but just having this conversation with you because maybe you can relate to this in some part of your life as you're navigating change, as you're navigating personal development, as you're navigating a season of wanting to be more healthy, wanting to be more rested, that sometimes, two things. Sometimes you do have to just keep going, even if you don't feel the results. There also might be opportunities where you might be able to pivot while you're going through the results. That's what I'm using these 100 days for as well. I'm having conversations around a variety of things. Yes, most of them are rooted in, conversations around ambition, capacity, rest, and creativity. But I'm sharing, I did a video on how my experience was as an eldest daughter. And I've talked about me wanting to be invisible and not showing up in this way. So I'm having multiple conversations just to kind of see what resonates, and just as a personal development practice. So, like I was saying, you might have to, just using 30 days for example, you might not have embodied the identity after day 30. But what are you going to do on day 31? Are you going to revert back to your old ways, or are you going to keep moving forward because you know what you desire is on the other side of whatever day that may be? And there might not be a number that you can put on it. One day you will just wake up saying, I am a rested woman. I am a healthy woman. I post YouTube videos daily. You'll just wake up with that embodiment. So there is something to the practice, the habit, and the embodiment. You really do have to ultimately embody whatever that practice is, because otherwise you're forcing yourself to do it. You're just trying to check off the box. You're just trying to complete the challenge. You really haven't embodied it, meaning it's just who you are. It's just a normal thing that you do. I know I was a little bit of a ramble there. Let me see if I missed anything. Got my peppermint tea this morning. So like I was saying, I think any of us, especially if you're watching this video, any of us can do anything for 30 days, but what happens on that day 31? Do you keep going? Which of course I am. But for me, it's gonna be, what do I do on day 101? On day 101, will I have then embodied being a daily poster in this way? I don't know. There's still more to be said. But I do think there is a conversation around, when we're trying new things, when we're trying hard things, that we have to know that it will come to a point where you're not just checking it off the box. You're not just forcing yourself to do it. It has become who you are, and you will be able to feel it. Like, again, me talking about rest, I know how difficult resting is, and just taking the time for rest is, for driven, responsible, reliable, ambitious, goal-oriented, high-achieving women. I know how difficult that is, and I know how difficult, and I know we are in a world now where so many women are just riddled with fear and doubt, and at the same time knowing that you do need the rest, but it feels hard and it feels uncomfortable. But I'm a living witness that you need to rest more. You need to dedicate more time to rest. But when you start taking those small steps and you start feeling the relief, and again, the relief when you're prioritizing something like rest, and if you're anything like me, and you are a person that had deeply rooted identities around your worth being in what you do or what you produce or what you can do, it's hard to break from that. So I'm not negating that in any way, but what I am saying is that when you get so sick and tired of yourself, when you just get sick and tired of not being your best, something has to change. I wish that we could be in a place where we didn't have to get to that, but oftentimes we do. And I just want to encourage you to keep going, especially when it comes to not only rest, but just choosing you, taking care of yourself, prioritizing yourself. Because once you embody that identity, or even before embodiment truly takes over and you start seeing the results, embodiment is right around the corner. It's going to just become, when I took the time out to rest, or when I took the time out to do this activity for myself, or when I took the time out to do this, I felt better. I was able to think clearer. I was able to create. I was able to show up better for the people that I care about. It's over. It's over. So I want to ask you, what in your life are you just practicing right now? And what has become a part of who you are? Challenges can start behavior, but the embodiment is what sustains it. So again, I'm doing this 100-day YouTube challenge, and the challenge is what starts the behavior. You know, me starting out here daily. And we'll see what happens for me on day 101, but it's that embodiment that truly sustains the identity. We all have to start somewhere, so the challenge is a great starting point. Great starting point. But embodying it and it just becoming a part of who you are is what actually sustains it. I hope I wasn't rambling too much. If y'all could resonate with, if you can resonate with any part of this, let me know down in the comments. I'm Erica Prevail, and I share daily conversations helping driven, purpose-led women rework their relationship with ambition, capacity, rest, and creativity. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.